This episode is sponsored by Bigger City. Thank you so much for supporting us and helping our show to grow.
Hello and welcome back to the Big Fat Gay Podcast, where we like to talk about the things that are weighing on our minds. My name's Don Marshall. I am a big chubby guy living here in sunny Hollywood, and today I am proud to announce that I am not an unindicted co-conspirator.
We'll see about that.
From those of you listening in the future, that may be a clue as to where we are in time as we record this episode.
Oh my goodness. Hi, my name is Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, and chubby chaser. And today I am also not in jail. And I work hard. I strive daily to stay out of jail.
You do a good job at it.
Yes, here I am.
I'm Trevor Keyson. I'm a super chub, and today I guess I'm not in jail, and I'm also a cafe bonbon boy.
Yay! My name is Michael Willer. I'm a chubby chaser, and I can't be a cafe bonbon boy, but I am a delicious latte boy.
We ran out of sweetened condensed milk.
Yeah, we ran out of sweetened condensed milk, but this is a delicious, delicious latte. So thank you, Dan.
You are welcome
for providing the caffeine for today's episode. Welcome to this show.
Well, that wraps up.
That's it. Good job, everybody.
No.
All right.
We'll make an episode.
Everybody calm down. Everybody calm the fuck down.
Welcome back to just another goofy get-together of four fat adjacent or fat people.
Second episode of the day always has weird energy.
Yeah, but that's why you come back, right?
Yeah. I blame lunch.
We're wishing everyone a continued happy Fat Liberation Month. Are you fat? Are you liberated? How are you celebrating? Yeah. Maybe you're having some coffee. Maybe you're having a nice
latte.
A latte. Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying Fat Liberation Month. I'm fat. I'm liberated.
And if you're looking for ways to celebrate your Fat Liberation Month,
NAFA has you covered.
Might we encourage you to take a look at our own website, such as Patreon?
Yeah.
Yes.
To help us spread the good word.
We got lots of silly stuff there. If you missed it last month, there's a Caftan fashion show.
Mm-hmm. That's maybe my favorite behind the scenes we've done so far.
Yes. Yeah. Next week in recording time, not release time, Dan and I are going to a pool party that the Plus Bus in LA is doing. So we'll have a recap about that for next week's episode.
That was my bus sound effect.
I'm very excited. I'm going to be dancing. I'm going to be in my swimsuit. Royal Rubbish is going to be selling caftans there.
Did you say what Plus Bus was?
Plus Bus is an LA-based consignment shop that primarily caters to fat women and femmes, but it's resale, fashionable, plus-size clothing.
Yeah. And
this is a pool party.
It's a pool party, but it sounds like they have at least a couple vendors.
Yeah,
there.
vendors. There's going to be, as I think, like a poolside fashion show that maybe I'll just they'll just run in there and crash it.
Just get in that fashion show.
No, I think there's going to be some water aerobics at one point, like a little class of here's some water movement. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole program.
And you missed it, listener.
Yeah, by this point in time of you hearing this, it will have been done.
I don't know why I'm picturing a fat, a synchronized swimming team through this whole thing. I think it would be kind of fun.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
I do watch that in my dreams.
That's how you got board certified.
Anyway, check us out on Patreon. Liberate yourself while fat.
Thank you. Can I just say, we always say thank you to the patrons, but seriously, it's been well over a year at this point of people supporting us on Patreon, and that's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is really the dedication that you guys have shown us to keep the show going. Really, thank you.
It's like they keep not leaving, which is fantastic.
Michael, hold up your wrist to the microphone and move it around, so people can hear that.
You hear that?
That's a healthy wrist.
I am improving, actually. So, we're getting there. I can now edit a show without any real discomfort. It's more a matter of extended time. So, if I am using a mouse for 8 hours a day, that becomes a problem. But we're getting there, and we have been able to hire an editing service to support to do the online episodes that we record, the Riverside episodes. So, anyway, it's all good stuff.
Yay!
Take us into popcorn.
All right. Well,
God, yes. I'm really feeling it with my cafe bonbon.
Cafe. The sugar.
Next time we do a live event, we have to bring top hats and actually.
I would do that. I would absolutely do that.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. Woo! It's got a big
First,
sugar in my veins.
Sugar and caffeine. Go, boy, go.
Pupils dilating. We are talking about fat video games.
That's
Michael,
right.
set this up because you're the one that shared
fat
this.
characters. Fat representation in video games. Specifically, there's an article in Polygon, which any of you gamers out there probably are familiar with.
It's a really good article.
Yeah, it's a great article written by Todd Harper, who I didn't find a full biography, but I believe is a fat queer man, fat gay man.
Well, we'll just throw a question mark on that because we're not 100% sure.
Not totally sure. The point is, there's a game called Diablo 4, which lets you create different characters, but they're sort of preset in terms of what they look like. So the game is presenting to you character archetypes, and then you can sort of choose, male presenting, female presenting, blah, blah, blah. And the makers of the game did not include a wide variety of body types for all classes. Some of them are larger bodies.
Well, let's be very specific about it. Each character class is assigned a specific body type.
Right, so you can't have a fat elf.
Yeah, if you are playing a necromancer, you're going to be a beanpole. You're very rail thin. If you're playing a druid, you are a large person.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You cannot choose to be the large necromancer.
And the argument that Blizzard, the creators of this game, put forth was they are leaning into identifiable archetypes for these mythic archetypes. They're saying, everyone identifies a necromancer as this sort of gaunt, skeletal person, and therefore that's what it must look like in our game. We don't want people having the option to create a character that's the fat necromancer.
Let me just say, as a fat person,
As a fat necromancer.
I think a fat necromancer makes perfect sense because I can me as a fat evil warlock raising skeletons to do stuff for me and being okay, hold on, skeleton, rise up and fetch my Postmates order from the door.
That's pretty much our marriage dynamic right there.
I'm actually, here's the thing though, I'm just willing to go out.
So there's two sides.
I'm willing to go out on a limb though and say that the spokesperson for Blizzard did not talk to their design team, because I think there's a legitimate reason why they made this choice, which you can see in their Overwatch game. In their Overwatch game, they specifically designed each character with a physical profile that you would be able to recognize in profile through walls. You're just going to get the silhouette of their body as they're doing things, right?
Right.
That lets you instantly recognize who your teammate is and what they're doing. In Diablo, it's the same deal. You're not going to be playing with specific people's characters. You may not know who the character is, but at a glance, you will know that is a druid. They can do this for me. That is a necromancer. They do this.
Yeah.
I think that is a legit reason for that, for functionality in a game.
Yeah.
But as an experience for a player, that's not so much. Yeah. And they tried to make it sound like it was an intentional choice for player experience, which I think was bullshit.
Well, and the thing is, at the end of the day, and Todd writes this in his article, he doesn't want to overlook the fact that they did include fat characters.
Yeah.
The druids are fat, or at least fat presenting. They're big.
I will say, excellently rendered too. I was very impressed by the character I was able to make. And the flexibility in racial presentation.
That is true.
Really impressive. I was able to make an Asian character, a black character, a Native American character, all of which looked correct.
So going in the complete opposite direction, one of the games that Todd brings up as an example of how to do it, right, or at least in a way that's more engaging for a fat person to express themselves in a game, is Street Fighter 6, where you can create any type of person you want, any body size, anything. And they can go into the world of Street Fighter, which is a fighting game where you're doing moves and stuff, and they will behave in whatever archetype of move set that you want. So he chose a character archetype move set that is done initially by a woman.
Yes.
By a live woman.
It's a very high agility, high movement, speed, accuracy type character.
And they can impart those moves onto whatever character you create. The point of the game is that it's already ridiculous. It's not meant to be realistic. And so at that point, it really is just expression.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they made that possible is a really, really cool way to represent yourself in the game.
Yeah.
And see a person who looks like you doing things that you have never seen them doing before, particularly in games. 'Cause
And
that's,
I got to call out Street Fighter 6 as the first one that really did include fat bodies in that genre.
Yeah.
'Cause fighter games have been doing this self-created character thing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But while you could make a male character thick, like bulky,
beefy.
and you could make a female character super busty, you couldn't really make either of them fat.
Yeah.
Like the butt size never changed on any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, how
It didn't get-
revolutionary. You could
it-
make a female character more busty.
I think it's
Dude, I'm old enough to remember
The
playing
physics.
the first game that had breast physics in
yeah.
my God.
Oh,
which
yeah.
was
Dead
no,
or
it wasn't
Alive
Street.
one.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Dead or Alive one, and it made me so seasick.
and the
Yeah.
volleyball.
Oh,
The
how-
breasts made me seasick when I played that.
how cutting edge. Yeah.
Anyway, or cutting room floor. Anyway, so I thought it was cool not only to have this article in the discussion, but also Todd has a few other articles very similar to this. He tackles this subject in other areas and games, and I just appreciated that, and I think he's doing good work. And thank you, Todd. I like seeing this conversation happening elsewhere.
And speaking of style,
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
Oh no, sorry, Dan.
I wanted to kind of briefly mention this and kind of make a call for listeners. Because I had sent this to everyone, and I was going to discuss it, but I thought this was a better fat video game topic, the Todd Harper article. But there's a new game out called Dave the Diver.
Oh yeah,
And it is there's a whole lot going on in the game. But
Yeah.
I'm going to read the description of the game that the developers released. Dave the Diver is a casual single-player adventure RPG featuring deep-sea exploration and fishing during the day and sushi restaurant management at night. Join Dave and his quirky friends as they seek to uncover the secrets of the mysterious blue hole.
I'm sorry, the what?
the mysterious blue hole.
Yes.
Blue hole.
And this game, it's like very kind of cute
Am I the only
style.
one who gets the joke there?
Yes. A very cute style, pixel art. There's a whole, like, it looks like there's like a cooking mini game. It's
Well, and
fishing.
Dave's fat.
Yes.
that's the
yeah,
the
so
tie-in
that's
here.
the lead.
Dave, the main character, is fat, which is cool, but then there's a lot of questionable aspects to it. For instance, the trailer, which I haven't played the game, but I watched the trailer for the game,
Yeah.
is full of these kind of like, tongue-in-cheek, innuendos like, oh, he's got a giant appetite for adventure. And
But see, and it's a lot of that, but it is also food puns, and it's about this restaurant that he
Yeah.
is the fisherman diver guy for, and then I think also does some cooking. So I'm like,
is there such thing as mini sliming or like partial slime? Like it's because it feels slightly sliming, but not
but it's
totally.
I don't know.
I don't think Trevor feels slimed.
I kind of do, but at the same time, it's like the nanny litmus test that we've talked about, where it's like,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they could make the same language puns with a thin character, but it would be very
don't know.
clear that it's about the restaurant. Like, I think it's because it's ambiguous, and if it was a thin character, it would be like, oh, this is all about the sushi restaurant aspect of it.
So your thing is, it's
Maybe.
not a fat joke because if you change it to a thin character, it's still funny.
I don't think they would have written those jokes if it were a thin character.
And I've heard conflicting things online from people about like how is the game fat phobic in the language, and I've heard that it's not really fat phobic, but it is very much a thing of people when they meet Dave are surprised that he is the
In the
diver
game.
that they've heard about. And
in
like,
the
oh,
game, when characters meet you,
and it's like, oh, I thought you'd be.
too fat for that. But
Or
they
no,
probably don't
but
say
like,
that.
they,
but
no,
like,
they don't say it that, but it's like, oh, I thought you'd.
the
be-
implication.
I was
be
expecting
tiny or
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, on the other hand, that's kind of real life experience of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
from I
it's-
didn't expect you
Is
to
it
be.
necessary? Like that's
It's also,
my thing is like, is it necessary?
It's a Korean developer.
Oh, okay.
So, and I guess maybe there was a demo out because it's like through Steam, so there was early access. And I think maybe some of the early stuff in early development was maybe more fat phobic because there was feedback about that.
Interesting.
And the developers were like, oh, like, we feel like maybe the humor didn't translate. And it's like, was it humor or were you just being fat phobic and like it's
Yeah,
more.
the fat phobia didn't translate.
Yeah, that's they're spinning that. I think.
Yeah.
But I'm curious from listeners, have you played this game? Let us know. I want to play it eventually, but I'm waiting till it's on Switch.
Yeah, I think that's. I'll wait to hear what you say.
Yeah.
But I don't think I want to buy it. All right. Well, Dan, that great segue that you had 5 minutes ago.
I don't think applies anymore.
No, I don't think it does either. We're talking about, so we've talked a lot about fat fashion, and we've talked a lot about fat like models and advertising and representation in advertising, but I don't think we've ever talked about hair.
I am actually surprised it's taken us this long to land on hair.
Like hairstyles.
It's something I was always frustrated when... For those of you who do not know what we look like, this is Don. I do not currently have hair. It has been removed. But back when I was dealing with hairstyles, I was always struggling to try and figure out how to best present my face. And there's no guidance for fat people.
I remember being a fat kid and like, just, I don't know, teen and like going to the salon and like looking through the like haircut book and like not really being able to be like, how is this going to look on me? Because all of the hair models were so thin and like chiseled cheekbones and jawlines. And like, okay.
And the hair they were given was always designed to accentuate the features they had.
Yes. And I'm like, this is either going to look great on me or it's going to be a disaster.
Well, we might want to segue into the fact that this was inspired by an article in Refinery 29. And the title of the article is Hairstyles Are Size Inclusive, So Where Are All the Plus Size Faces?
Right.
And this is an article written by Marie Southard Ospina. And basically talking about how for along this time, she says that there was really no fat fashion. And so the only opportunity you had for fashion was in your hairstyle, in your makeup.
One size fits all.
In your hair and your makeup and maybe jewelry. And so the question she raises is, so where is the fat representation in hair, makeup, and jewelry? And why is it always still this waifishly thin makeup model?
Yeah, the models and like the advertising of whatever product it is, they don't need to look any kind of way because your hair is your hair. Everyone's got the hair that they've got, whether it's no hair or some hair.
You can't be too fat for hair.
Yeah. Like it's one size fits all. And so where's the fat representation?
That lack of guidance can honestly lead you to make some very bad hair mistakes over the course of your life.
Well, exactly. And it parallels for me the idea that like, well, we make jeans in 32-32. And so, they just scale up to 52-52, and it's the same thing with hairstyles where like, well, this is how we cut. This is the sort of waifish pixie cut. And so everybody should love that.
I remember being a kid looking at old photographs and remembering a lot of the older women just had the same hairstyles. Bigger women had the same styles as thinner women, but they were bigger.
Oh,
Did anyone else see that?
Hairstyles themselves?
Yeah, so like I remember like this woman who had a beehive, and like all the beehives they looked like beehives, and hers looked like the biggest beehive. It was the biggest beehive I've ever seen. It was huge.
Just sort of
large.
as if trying to balance.
Yeah,
but
I think that was the advice I remember getting was, well, you're large, you want to balance your body with your hair.
For men, how I see it in the chub chaser world is I think there are so many chubs who forget about hair. Either because they're like, well, I'm fat. What am I going to do anyway? Or there is a definite investment in this shag look, which maybe I'm the odd man out. Maybe it's like that shag is totally fashionable and I'm the one who's mistaken. But there seems to be very little attention put on beard and hair, just that there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is like, we'll get into this later about doctors, but I wonder if it's a similar thing with like barbers and hair care is like, how often do you want to put yourself through an experience of somebody having to take care of your hair, trim your beard, trim your hair, whatever, experimenting with new hairstyles if you're worried that person is going to slime you. If you have to go out and get a service, like much like showing up to a doctor's office, if you know that you're going to get slimed walking in, you're less likely to walk in.
Or if you don't know if you're going to be able to get in the chair comfortably or whatever.
I always feel bad when this tiny little woman has to press the lever to lift me up. I'm always like, oh, like, can I do that for you?
Is your foot gonna work? It's just like little straining calf muscles.
I mean, what I keep looking at though is like if you look at these, the before and after picture when they lose weight, it's like they introduced you to a fucking stylist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always a different hairstyle.
You could have done that when you were thin. You could have gone to a barber when you were fat, and you would have looked amazing.
I will also say this: there is a way to do stylistic shaggy look. It's not just a matter of never getting a haircut.
But that's what I'm talking about.
But it takes a lot of work to make it look like you did no work. You know?
No, yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like it requires the attention to detail and knowledge. It just requires and if we don't have access to what it might look like, if you don't see it around you, you're not going to have that knowledge.
I'm curious if you had a similar experience to this, Trevor, but I know your hair is much more fashionable than mine ever was. But I always had the sense that when I got into a barber's chair, that they didn't pay that much attention to me. They just sort of look at what was the baseline when you walked in. I'll approximate whatever that was and not think about me, right?
How much of that is, though, a barber's toxic masculinity?
When I got to college, there was a point where I was really just not happy with my looks, the way life was going. I was very depressed. I went into I was like, I have to do something to change, just to change, any change. I went into a random barbershop I'd never been to, and there was a large woman there. I remember she was the first larger woman I'd ever had get work on my hair. And at that point, I was just so out of it. I was just like, you know what? Just do something different. Just do something different. Do something. Right?
The phrase that strikes terror into all stylists.
Yeah. I mean, it's a rude thing to do to a stylist, I think. I think it's cruel because there's no way they can win. She won. All right. She was the first person, I think, who actually stopped, looked at my face, and thought about what she was going to do before she went in.
Lovely.
Right? And I walked out of that place for the first time in my life thinking I looked handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time. She explained to me what she did, and unfortunately there were too many terms in there that, as someone who'd never thought about hair, I didn't understand, so I couldn't reproduce it. But I think it was kind of like a box cut. She gave me kind of a square thing on top of my head. Not square like the 90s kid and play, but like there was a different shape she gave to my head that looked good. And that's what I want for all of us. And I want us to be able to pick that from fucking magazines like all the rest of the people in this world do.
Yeah. Well, because there's the other stylist nightmare where, the really fat guy comes in with a picture of Farrah Fawcett and says, make me look like that. Like, you don't have the hair for that. Like that hair that hair does not go on your body. Like you don't have that.
Yeah. Having types of hair is a whole thing. But that's the thing is like, you kind of have to explore it to understand what your hair will and won't do.
Yeah, yeah.
I think also, like for me, part of the trouble of navigating hairstyle stuff is so much of the language is kind of rooted in fat phobia. Like when I get a really clean, nice haircut, people are like, "Oh, you look thinner." It's like, no, the sides of my head are just clean. Like I have a clean.
Because people equate thin and pretty.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he has shaved on the side, so technically the perceived width of his head is thinner.
But I do not look chiseled.
No,
I think it's
that is
just
what Shayna would say. I look chiseled.
Oh, chiseled. That's
People equate good looking and thin.
Yeah.
So they're saying you look good looking, but the word is thin.
You're right.
Anyway.
You're right.
I know. I would love to
It
hear
just
from.
sounds so much more weird if you walk up to someone and say, "You're looking so narrow today." For you.
I would love to hear from any listeners who are maybe fat stylists or like chaser stylists, or I want to hear your thoughts and I want to hear your thoughts about this. I almost said thoughts and prayers.
That logical attack out of nowhere.
Yeah. We've taken off.
Damn the transition. Full speed ahead. Welcome to Fat Watch.
Our feet are dangling. We're on our way to Fat Watch, baby.
For the people at home,
Yeah.
we are 29 minutes into our recording time. We are way past where we're supposed to be.
And don't worry, you're not 29 minutes into your listening time.
No, that's because that's my job.
To get rid of that shit.
I cut that shit out. All right, what do we got for Fat Watch today? This is great.
I love this. I
remember
love this. I love this so much. So this came out of, I guess, NPR. Right?
Yeah, NPR. Mm-hmm.
So there was a affiliate that did a story on. The thing is that this shouldn't be revolutionary because it's so fucking basic and obvious. But what if you just treated fat people's maladies at the doctor's office as if they had maladies, and that every problem wasn't because they were fat?
Yeah.
And so this goes under various guises, but one of the more prominent names is weight neutral care. And it basically is, if I were a thin person, how would you be treating this problem? Mm-hmm. As opposed to always prescribing diets or weight loss surgery.
Trevor, can I ask you a question? We can cut it if it's too personal. What's the most absurd reason the doctor has suggested weight loss to you for a malady you've gone in for?
Oh, I have the perfect thing. This isn't even a doctor. I was at the ophthalmologist, or just like the eye doctor getting new glasses.
The optometrist.
And he's like,
the optometrist.
Yes, the optometrist said, I want to send you to a nutritionist because if you lost weight, you wouldn't need glasses.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
And I was
right?
like, I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
Mine was strep throat. I was told I was getting strep throat very often because
you
I
were
was fat.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing. They always have a reason it's connected, right?
Hold on. It's just like you're eating so much that your throat is sore from just the volume of food you're consuming.
Yeah.
The abrasion.
The abrasion, and therefore cannot defend itself against the streptococcus. No! Anyway, the article is about, there are some Seattle area doctors who have actually taken up the revolutionary standpoint that disease is not caused by fatness. And they're basically treating people for what they come in for.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that has generated a news article.
How could that possibly work, though?
And well, I even more than that, one of the people I talked to is Dr. Lisa Erlinger, who is a professor at UW-Madison, where she's training future providers to have body-neutral care. So, it's that extra step of, I'm not just doing this myself in my own practice, but she's actually helping people to understand why this is important, who are being trained to have their own practices and go out and take care of people.
I mean, that is, if you think about clearly fat people are sicker because they're sicker. And it's like, yeah, but have you looked at the healthcare that fat people are exposed to? How they get misdiagnosed. That's one of the issues in this article, is that often people are just diagnosed fat. And then the problem continues down the road and it becomes an emergency because they've been misdiagnosed. And then all of a sudden they have no alternatives, or the care becomes more expensive. And we go, you see, it was because they're fat.
Or there's one example they give, which is, it could even be like, she had an issue with her thumb. I think it got dislocated, or there was some issue with her hand, and he was like, look, your posture is such that when you are in this position, it's probably because of your weight and there's extra pressure, and now your thumb is having this issue. It's separated from the socket. And she's like, well, that may be, but what you're suggesting, this weight loss that you're suggesting, doesn't solve my problem. My thumb is still out of the socket. Can we actually address why I'm here? And so it's not even, it is more than just they're misdiagnosing. It's just that you're ignoring my health issue. In
order to go out of your way to blame me for something that you feel is my fault.
It's just, at best, it's lazy.
Well, and the most extreme version of that is where you cannot receive surgery unless you prove your worthiness by losing weight.
By losing weight and proving that you'll be able to keep the weight off.
It's interesting right now. I'm literally going through that with my father right now, where they're.
Oh my god! I can name.
I'm not going to go into it.
I can name so many people in that position.
They're basically saying well, we could give you this surgery, but you're fat, so it might not go well for you. But if you don't have the surgery, you will be in pain the rest of your life.
And yet, if your father had gone in for weight loss surgery, they would have moved heaven and earth to make that possible.
God.
But I don't know. I at least am comforted by the fact that things.
Yeah,
are
there's
changing.
a growing awareness.
There's a breeze coming in the air.
Yeah, this feels like, and so anyway, Seattle, this is very important positive change, and I feel like it's an NPR. This is a national publication. It's going to continue to grow.
And I've said this before, but it bears repeating. If you are in this situation where your doctor is not treating the problem, but your body, but your size, the counter is, that's fine, but how would you treat this problem in a thin person?
Exactly.
If I were thin, how would you be treating this problem?
I want to take that a step farther and bring up a suggestion that you brought up in the past, which is, that's fine. Tell me how you would treat this problem if I wasn't fat. Now write that down in my chart.
And
tell me, and write down that you are not suggesting that to me because you believe my weight is a bigger issue than this.
Put it in permanent.
Basically you want it in your chart that they have refused treatment. And that usually is enough to cow them into giving you the treatment.
Yep.
In pen, not pencil.
In pen. Absolutely. On camera.
Anyway, so it's great to see this being reported and seeing people actually take the action that we've been hoping they would.
Because sometimes when I get treated badly at the doctor's office, it can turn me into a monster.
Into a monster.
Well, and
Speaking of becoming a monster.
Speaking of becoming, exactly.
Transition.
Finally, Trevor, for the first time in our podcast history, Trevor was the one who remembered for us to talk about Halloween.
No, I was
costumes.
Don.
Oh, it was Don?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I misattributed. Trevor, you suck.
Trevor missed it again.
Don finally remembered with enough advance notice for us to talk about Halloween costume ideas and where to source them before Halloween.
So who here loves Halloween?
Me.
Who here has had issues putting together a good Halloween costume?
I
in the
haven't
past?
dressed up for Halloween in forever, and actually, we are probably not going to get to this year because we're traveling the date, like November 1st. But okay, hold on. This is my costume idea. And
Okay,
I
let's hear
absolutely
it.
love it. And
He loves it.
There's a lot of logistics.
This is what I think
I
it is,
want
right?
to yes.
Okay.
I want to be the Flash, but I want to rent a scooter because I think that's the only way I could really like do the boulevard. And to me, I want to be Fat Flash in a scooter and just
that
fuck
would
with
be
people.
awesome.
Because he has that poster on his wall, like the day the
Yeah.
Flash weighed 1,000 pounds.
And
I
it's
love
literally the
that.
caption's like, I'm getting so fat.
And so he
It's
wants to
that,
be in
the
the red
era-
suit in a scooter.
The era
That's
of comics
genius.
where every superhero got fat for an issue because it's the most horrible thing a hero can be.
Right.
I think
Written by a chaser who just wanted to draw fat heroes.
I feel like if you're someone who does use a scooter, I feel like incorporating the scooter into the costume would be a great way to go.
Absolutely.
So like one of the things that I talked about when we went to Bigger Vegas last year was I wanted to do jousting, and ever since then I want to get a suit of armor and a little mini lance and have that be my costume.
Oh my
on
god!
the
And
scooter.
put the
scooter
horse
Justin.
head in the scooter basket.
Yes, exactly. Little horsetail on it. I want to do.
Oh,
it
and the
so
skirt, the
badly.
horse skirt, so around the wheels.
So-
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's genius.
yeah.
If it looks like we're rolling right into costume ideas. I
Yeah.
would say one of my like easiest fat guy costumes, especially like it's relevant this year because of the Mario movie. Get some overalls.
Oh, yeah.
Be Mario. Be Luigi. If you can get some colorful overalls, you could be Wario.
Yeah. Bowser.
Yeah, Bowser.
Might be a little tougher.
I'm a big fan of the home created costume, not necessarily the crafted and knitted and sewn together costume, but putting together something interesting and creative from around your house, right? So like I went out with a group costume. This was a long time ago during the Bush administration. We went to the West Hollywood Halloween parade as the Axis of Evil, right?
Oh.
So
Okay.
the Axis of Evil back then was like North Korea and all this stuff, but we just went with axes and just had Axis of Evil sashes around our midsections, and it was fun. Another one we did as a group costume was paparazzi. So we all just went in trench coats, brought cameras, and whenever we saw an interesting costume, we would mob them with flashes on, taking pictures.
Yeah, you don't have to be a character. Like
No.
if you don't.
No.
I
want
thought
to
one
be.
of the we did a couple's costume as Angel and Devil, where
Yes.
like I had my
Yeah.
harness and the devil
Cute.
horns and Trevor, you had the best way to do the angel.
Yes.
Because now it was based on this. We have this thing that we got from I don't know Crate and Barrel or whatever.
No, it was from IKEA. It was this stretchy blanket that was
But
like
gauzy, very gauzy.
And I figured out how to like wrap it and kind of tuck it and fold it.
Kind of like a toga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like a toga, but I didn't need to like pin it or sew it or anything.
Because it was stretchy, so it would kind of stick to itself or
Yeah,
or
nice.
stretch to itself. And you don't have to get that magical fabric, but if you got something that was a little gauzy and you were willing to do some pinning, that would be you're halfway to an angel costume or some sort of I don't know, bewinged spirit.
So my partner Michael, for our first Halloween, I had my like homemade sort of Jedi costume, and he dressed up as Sultan from Aladdin.
Oh my gosh!
And it was a great costume. It took some work.
How did he do the pants?
That was the trick. And we
Yeah.
actually found, so we found a website that the company makes like
pants?
Indian wedding garments. And they just happened to go up to a very large size. Wow. And so he was able to find like that style of like poofy, I'm sure there's a proper term for it, but that kind of pant that actually fit him.
I think it's called a harem pant.
Maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
or in the 80s it was called parachute pants. Yeah.
But they actually fit properly. Like he was able to wear them. Converting the sizes was a guessing game.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to do it in advance and maybe have a backup
and forth,
option. And we are also able to find a shirt through them that also fit similarly and worked out. And then so one of the things I was going to suggest was what made that costume work was finding whatever it is about the character that's iconic people will excuse a lot of other elements of your costume that aren't quite right as long as you have the one really iconic part, which for this costume, it was the hat.
Yeah.
It's the big poofy white hat with the blue gem, like the gemmed blue feather.
And the silhouette of those parachute pants. Right?
And exactly. So as long as you have white, and in this case, it was like a blue, like kind of cummerbund style belt sash thing. You can approximate the rest of the costume pretty closely.
Well, and speaking of that, I remember, do you remember Chubby Mikey? You probably do, Michael. So Chubby Mikey was the guy I did the True Life episode with, and we were subsequently on Tyra. The point is he did a costume, and he's a really big boy. Like he's 5'5" and about, 400, 500 pounds. And he went as Indiana Jones. But it was like you said, if you think about Indiana Jones, there is a shirt, which he wore open, so it didn't have to close. It's khakis. Which, okay, you can probably find khakis in your size. If you can find any pants, you can find khakis. And then what is it really about? It's about a leather shoulder bag, a hat, and a whip.
When you
And
started,
those aren't size specific.
Yeah.
when you started that, I thought you were going to say he was the boulder.
No.
So when we were thinking about this episode, I thought of a cosplayer who I follow, who's SimbaCon, I think is his like cosplay name. That's what he is on Instagram. And he's a big guy with a beard, and he does a lot of cool things with his cosplay, where he kind of like incorporates his beard by dyeing it or like spraying colors into it. So he has a costume that he does for conventions that's solely from Monsters Inc., but like it's Jedi solely.
Jedi solely. Okay.
So
He's showing a picture.
he has the horns that Sully has,
me see.
He's
Sully's the
kind
big,
of like a sky blue Jedi with the beard painted blue.
yeah, and the
Sully colors.
so he I think probably uses spray on color to make his hair blue, and then it's the purple spots. He has the horns.
The horns do it. The horns is what gets it there for me.
He has a little green BB-8 that's supposed to be Mike Wazowski. He also has Klausner from Zootopia, and he does the kind of cheetah spots.
the cheetah spot.
And his
Cheetah
beard.
Nice.
And the white stuff. He does a good Bowser.
I love people that can incorporate aspects of their general physical appearance into their costume in a way that owns the costume.
Yeah.
There is a famous dude, every year he gets famous for a new costume he makes. He has had one of his legs amputated. And he's
I know yeah.
He's a famous runner. And every year he has a costume that incorporates his one-leggedness into it. So like one year he was the lamp from Christmas Story. He's done a couple flamingos. I can't remember what it was, but they're always amazing and great ideas. But
it's an image where it would only have one leg.
Yeah.
Whether it's a lamp or a flamingo.
whatever it is, it's a one-legged character that now he can own.
Yeah, I like that. As opposed, because I think you have two directions to go. You either do that or you do the fat version of blah blah blah.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. Actually, not just talking about the costumes, but also talking about like, let's say you put your costume together. Maybe you're a little self-conscious and you haven't worn it before, and you go into a party or whatever, and you wear your costume, and let's say it's a character, like it's you go as Luke Skywalker, and somebody says, "Oh, you're fat Luke Skywalker."
That always annoys me.
Yeah. What is there anything to do in that moment? Do you care? Do you not care? Like, is there anything to kind of like swing that in a different direction?
I feel like to find that, I feel like black cosplayers have to deal with that so often. Like they're the ones we should get advice from.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yeah.
a lot of black plus size cosplayers. The Curvy Fashionista did a roundup on the website, and there's also been interviews with black plus size cosplayers just about like really like their advice kind of about this. There's one person in particular whose name is escaping my mind. Just if you want to dress up as that character, dress up as the character, make the costume, like really just get into it and just do it for yourself so you can see yourself as this character. And, try not to focus on people will think I'm fat Luke Skywalker or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's and going somewhere. I guess it depends on where you're going. Like if you're going to a house party with friends and family, then you're probably not going to have to deal with that so much. But if it's a random, friends of friends kind of party,
Or an interaction on the boulevard if you're at a Halloween parade or Halloween festival.
yeah, wear comfy shoes.
Damn, yes.
Yeah.
Trevor learned that the hard way.
Also, know your
Well, I mean-
your body and know the way your body acts. So, like, I sweat a lot if I'm hot. right? So like I think the last time I wore makeup at a party was at yours, and I was Hedwig the Owl. And the white makeup I was wearing was just streaking down me by the end of the night.
Yeah, but I remember I was with my ex, and he had this fabulous Wonder Woman costume.
Oh.
That he had actually borrowed from a friend who had it tailor made.
Oh wow!
And he looked incredible, and it had the boots, but they weren't for his feet.
Oh.
And so he's in these high-heeled, spangled boots that Wonder Woman would wear, and as he put it, he got a wonder cramp. And he did not make it. It was like he regretted it the next day. Like his feet were in so much pain.
I've had to wear high heels once, and I'm curious if it's harder for fat people, because I found it nearly impossible.
I think I mean I don't know, but I would suspect it's like some people really take to high heels and some people really don't.
Oh, I just wanted to ask one final question on the topic: inappropriate Halloween costumes.
Oh.
Do you have a favorite inappropriate Halloween costume that either you've seen or that you've worn yourself? I'm asking because I have a favorite one of my own that I feel like I should be ashamed to have worn, but I loved it.
Not that I've observed like locally. Like, I mean, I've seen costumes just out in the world, but not, I can't think of one.
I can think of some we saw on the cruise ship.
Ooh.
I'm always a fan of, I don't know, just like pregnant nuns.
That's a great one. I love those. Or the slutty nun costumes. My favorite, one year it was the cheapest Halloween costume I've ever made. A friend of mine had a garbage bag filled with leftover Mardi Gras beads, right? She's from New Orleans. It's okay. And so I just decked myself with physically as many Mardi Gras beads as I could put on myself, and then put Jergens lotion in my goatee, as though I had just earned these all by blowing everyone on Bourbon Street.
That
was the most requests for photographs I've ever gotten in the West Hollywood
I did
Parade.
something similar. Oh, you went to West Hollywood. So wait, what year was this?
This
Do you
is
remember?
a long time ago.
No, but do you remember what year?
Probably around 2005, 2006.
Okay, so
somewhere there.
before me. So in my first Halloween here, I did something similar, but it was at the time I had like a top coat, like a big brown top coat. And so I wore my top coat, I wore a pair of white briefs, and I put a rainbow array of glow sticks in the briefs, like in the front, in the crotch, and then I would flash people with it. But it was like a little rainbow.
Oh my God, who is
that's
this?
so cute.
This is Michael.
And there are pictures that are not for public.
That is
I need to see
adorable.
pictures. I need to see
The
these.
problem is that in the pictures, because there was a flash, because it was on the Hollywood, it was on the boulevard. You didn't see the rainbow.
colors.
That to me was kind of the fun flourish of it, rather than just being like a fucking flasher. But with underwear.
Michael Willer. I feel like I just got
The funny
a little
part is,
glimpse
because you're
into-
such a movie fan, my immediate brain went to like, oh, so you're the briefcase from Pulp Fiction. Was the first thing my brain went to.
I don't think I had seen it at that point, actually. But anyway,
Yeah.
my parting thoughts for this are: it is possible to source garments and items that will probably fit you, but it's like R&D. Like you have to go find that stuff, test them, buy them early. It may not fit.
Part of the burden of being a fat person doing this is that we will have to put more time and effort into it than a lot of other people. That's just reality. That's just the world we live in. So think earlier.
It could be argued that any good Halloween costume that is requires that.
Yeah, I think that's also fair.
Also, I don't know, Etsy, but like do it now. Like listener, do it now.
Yeah, it will always take longer to ship specialty items like that.
Yeah, I am excited. Let us know your fat Halloween costumes.
Oh yeah, we'll collect photos later.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay, how about this? Maybe, and I'm not promising this, if we get some listener submissions of their own Halloween costumes that they made, I'll send one of the photos of my flasher Halloween costume.
There you go.
Maybe, I don't know.
That'll encourage some feedback.
Now I'm getting excited about
maybe. I'm
So Michael has
giant
promised that he will
asterisk,
definitely provide
giant
this
asterisk.
if all of you send in the good stuff.
Asterisk. Okay.
Yeah.
Don, please.
Do we have a tip?
Take us away.
no tip, just a bit.
All right. Well, for the bit today, I thought we would dip back into the wonderful world of Halloween costumes, as seems appropriate. So, to start off with, in 1895, What was the first commercially produced Halloween costume available for consumers?
Let's see if I remember.
1895.
1895 was the very first one. Was it 1, a witch, 2, a vampire, 3, a werewolf, or 4, a skeleton?
Witch?
I think
We got one for witch. We got one for skeleton.
I'm going to go with skeleton.
Okay, 2 for skeleton, 1 for witch. Gentlemen, always remember, go with the Trevor.
No.
Witch
my
was
God.
the correct one.
Damn it.
What's interesting, though, is like somebody recently remade this original costume as part of like an Etsy project. It's not at all what we think of as a witch costume today.
Okay.
It's this very sort of pretty white and red princess dress.
Oh, like an evangelical Christian?
Yeah, a little bit. The only thing you'd recognize is the shape of the hat is the traditional conical hat you have today.
That
and it
evangelical
came with a
Christians wear.
broom.
Yes.
So
Fascinating. White and red. Okay.
yeah, I thought that was interesting. All right, during the 18th century, young women might do something on Halloween with an apple to help them find their perfect romantic match.
I know this.
Oh.
Okay,
I
so
think I
you're
know this
answering
too.
last then, mister.
I think I
All right.
know.
What exactly would they do with the apple? 1, put its seeds into the drink of a man you want to love you. 2, throw its peel over your shoulder and see whose name it's spelled. 3, bake a cake with it and bury it beneath the man's house.
Oh, dear.
Or 4, throw apples at single men until they surrendered and married their attackers.
That sounds plausible.
Dan, you go first.
What was the first one?
First one is put the seeds of the apple in the drink of a man you want to marry or want to love you.
Yes.
1?
Yes.
Okay, we got a
Also-
seeds one.
That's also my guess.
We got 2 for seeds. Trevor.
The peel.
And the correct answer is, in fact, the peel.
God damn it.
You try and
Why?
peel the apple in as long a continuous peel as you can, throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And then try and find the initials written in the peel.
So, like, if it's like, it looks like a C, it's like, oh, Charles.
Yep.
That's
I think we got to let Charles and Sam's out there.
yeah.
All right. Our final question dealing with Halloween costumes. For all the money, why did some pet shelters suspend adoption for black cats on Halloween?
Oh.
1, they often rented them out for local events.
Oh.
2, they were usually all gone before then anyway. 3, too many people wanted them, so the other cats got ignored. Or 4, fear of what Satanists might do with them.
That's what I'm going
Yeah, I think 4.
Yeah, 4.
Sacrificial cats. Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was such an overwhelming fear that Satanists were going to be using the black cats for satanic rituals or something that pet shelters would actually stop adopting them for a little while. We do, however, live in a better world today. And apparently now the current trend is for more pet shelters to do black cat adoption events around Halloween because people are sort of more open to it and in the spirit of it. In general, if you're not in the know, black cats tend to be the least often adopted cats. And so they
I didn't
tend
know
to-
that.
They tend to be the ones that are most often put down in shelters. So shelters are often trying
Which
to put
is
in
horrible
programs.
because black cats have great personalities.
They often do.
I'm just picturing like as a Satanist going to one of these adoption events before Halloween, trying to play it cool. Like, yes, I want this cat for normal reasons.
This cat to have a cat around for more than just the next week.
Yes, my little girl has been looking for one. Haven't you, Igor?
Okay.
So, dear listener, if you have some other Halloween costume stories you'd like to share with us, where could they do that, Trevor?
Well, we're on Instagram and Twitter as that Big Fit Kid.
We're on
Twitter and Instagram as at Big Fat Gay Pod. Is that right? Does that
Yeah.
sound right? We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/BigFatGayPod. See the articles we talked about at www.bigfatgaypod.com, baby. Maybe you're at your sewing machine sewing your little cute fat Halloween costume,
You little so-and-so.
and you hear a little tap 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 at your door.
Uh-oh.
You open it. There's a little black cat, and you turn around. He turns around and he has my face,
Oh, God.
and he says, "Meow, watch out."
Oh, watch out.
Hello. I'm back.
I never know when. I never know when anymore.